What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jerome, and I'm here today with the review for Married to Medicine. This is season 5, and it's episode 7. It's titled Heavenly Homecoming. So, without further ado, let's get the video started. Alright, so the episode, it opened up, you see the girls, the women, what they doing in their day-to-day lives. The one thing that kind of threw me off was with Contessa. When Contessa was talking to her kids about, dying and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, God, aren't they a little young for that? But I guess not, because my mom and I had that conversation when I was about 3 years old. And, that's the conversation that stayed with me from, a long time. Even up until now, it's still, I still think about it. I had a hard time when she told me then, and I'm still having a hard time now that she's not here. But we'll move on from that, because I don't want to start crying through this video. I want to get through this video, have fun, and all that kind of stuff. So the episode kind of started with Mariah. Mariah is taking her daughter Lauren over to Dr. Simone's, for the OBGYN and all that kind of stuff. And basically, she's just kind of educating Lauren on all the kind of stuff that's going to happen when she, when she starts visiting the OBGYN regularly. She pulls out the stirrups and, she's telling her, you put your legs up there and you lay back, and your doctor, does whatever. I don't know what an OBGYN does, and I really don't want to find out, because it's not something, it's not for me. So like I said, she's seeing Dr. Simone, and then Dr. Simone comes in there, and, she wants to have a talk with Lauren, and actually we find out that Dr. Simone is the one who actually delivered Lauren. So, like I said, Dr. Simone asked Mariah to leave the room so she can have a conversation with her, because, teenage kids, they don't want to talk about what's going on in their lives in front of their parents. So that's why Dr. Simone had her step out, so that if there was anything that she wanted to tell her, she could feel free to tell her without her mom being in front of her. And I actually liked that. That was like, that's the one thing about Married to Medicine. Despite all the bullshit that, they have sometimes, the drama and all that kind of stuff, you do get some educational stuff out of it. And that's the one thing that I definitely do enjoy about this show, is that it is on the same, it is, drama and all that kind of stuff, but at the same token, you do get some educational stuff out of it. All right, and then we move over to Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie is at her house, and she has Quad over. And, she's asking Quad how things are going right now. And, Quad is saying how it's hard for her to lean on people at this time. But Jackie's like, you know what? It's not you leaning on people. It's that, we're there by your side. Just like you guys were there for me last year, because Jackie doesn't know what she would have done without her friends. And I think that's what it is. And, my whole thing with Quad is the fact that, I get it. You don't want to open up. You don't want to, bear the burden of talking to everybody about what's going on in your life. But for you to be on this show and not want to film with them, but in the same token, you film with the Sister Circle girls, it's a big of a contradiction if you ask me. And then, Quad, while she's talking to Jackie, she gets a call from Dr. G. And, Dr. Jackie's like, well, somebody's actually, concerned about you and really checking up on you. And Quad ignores it the first time. And then they start talking again, and then he calls again. And this time Quad answers the phone. And when she answers the phone this time, the conversation was, dry as crap, because Dr. G wants to know where Quad is, which she said that to Dr. Jackie, and she's basically telling him that she's working and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, why did you have to? I get it, you are technically working because you're filming the show, but you could have just said, I'm with Jackie, I'm with anybody. And it was really kind of like that she was short with him and all that kind of stuff. And then when she hangs up the phone, Jackie was like, I think he might want to work things out with you. She was like, because it sounded like he's genuinely concerned about you and all that kind of stuff. And Quad's whole thing is not that she doesn't feel like he's concerned about her. It's that he's afraid of her divorcing him and all that kind of stuff. And, at this point, you can clearly see that Quad has checked out of this marriage. And I'm just like, why are you going through the motions if you do not want to be with him? Like, go ahead and file for divorce. There's nothing wrong with that. If you've done everything in your power in your marriage to make things work, and it's still just not working, then at that point you need to just say, what, it's a done deal. I can't do anymore. I've already put too much into this, and I just can't go any further. It would be just that simple. Okay, so we got this scene over at Toya's house. Now Toya is not at the house, so it's just the guys there. It's Dr. G. Well, it's Dr. Eugene, Cecil, Curtis, Dr. Aiden, Dr. Damon was there, and I think Dr. Scott was there. I'm not positive. I can't remember if Dr. Scott was there or not. And then Dr. G did show up. So basically, this is a guys' night out. And Dr. G, he asked Curtis how are things going between he and Jackie at this point. And Curtis is like, it's a work in progress. Each day is a new thing that they learn about one another and all that kind of stuff. And when he says that, Dr. G asks him what's his secret and all that kind of stuff. And Curtis basically saying it's just paying attention to the details and all that kind of stuff, and just working hard at it. It's not easy, but with hard work and hard work and paying attention to the detail again, he and Jackie are starting to find their way back to each other and all that kind of stuff. And then they ask him, I think it was Dr. Eugene who asked him how he's been and all that kind of stuff. And he's talking about how it's kind of hard for him right now. And then they flash back to the beginning of the season, that first episode where Quad and he were in the same house, but absolutely no communication between them. And he's talking about how he feels like they're not a team, and that's the reason why he acted out and all that kind of stuff. Now it doesn't give just because Quad is doing certain things or you feel she's doing certain things or not doing certain things, that does not give you the right to step outside your marriage for anything. So I mean, I don't understand how he can fix his mouth to say that, just because he feels that there's issues in their marriage and all that kind of stuff. That gave him a reason to step out. It doesn't. And Curtis asked him basically what does he feel it would take for him and Quad to get back on the same page. Now Dr. G does not feel that Quad really wants him at this point, which, looking at it now, I don't really believe that Quad 100% wants him at all. I'm kind of questioning if she ever wanted him at all. I'm not saying she's a gold digger or anything like that, but I'm just feeling like maybe she's a bit opportunistic and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. I mean, people could disagree with me on that one. And then, Cecil was talking about how with his marriage last season, he didn't feel like he was doing everything that he could to save his marriage, but then being at the reunion and looking at all the other couples, it made him want to go and work on his marriage and all that kind of stuff. And then Dr. Eugene, he says that when his parents were together and they were bickering and arguing and all that kind of stuff, he just wanted them to, get a divorce at that time because it was getting so bad that, nothing was getting solved or resolved, and it was just making things matters worse and all that kind of stuff. But he said he's not telling Dr. G to divorce Quad. He wants, them to try to work it out, try to reconcile things, and if then you can't make it work, then the other option is divorce, which they are currently in the process of getting a divorce, from what I've heard in interviews that Quad has done on, and I saw on Sister Circle Live where she was talking about it, and then she was on Watch What Happens Live a few weeks ago with Dr. Jackie talking about it. All right, so then we move back over to Toya and Eugene. They are meeting with this, I guess he's a contractor who is starting the development process of building a home for them. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, I get it. Everybody wants that forever home, the one that they can call their own. Like, I definitely get that, and ain't nothing wrong with that. But my whole thing when it comes to Toya and Eugene is y'all just got out of debt. So when common sense say just save up a little money for, maybe a year or 2 or 3 or 4, and then say, hey, let's go build a house, let's go buy a house, let's go do whatever we gonna do, but save, because like I said, y'all just got out of debt. So what's the rush? Like, I don't get it. What is the big rush on this house? And a part of me feels like this is all Toya. Like, I really do feel like this is all Toya instead of Dr. Eugene, because Toya is a very vain person and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, save up your money. It would be that easy, because now look at like the stuff that y'all want. Y'all having to compromise. You having to cut this, cut that, and all that kind of stuff just to stay under your budget of $2 million, which is ridiculous to me. Like, y'all gonna end up putting yourselves right back in the same position. I'm not gonna say the IRS did, but y'all might put yourselves back in a similar position where you have to, Dr. Eugene has to work multiple shifts and all that kind of stuff. Like, take the time to actually just save up some extra money like, I don't get those two, really and truly. And like I said, I think it's more so Toya than Dr. Eugene. All right, so then we have Dr. Simone. She is at the North House, and Michael is there. He's on FaceTime with Miles, and when she comes in there, she's asking Miles how's school going and all that kind of stuff. He says good, and then Cecil comes home. So basically, right now, when it comes to Dr. Simone and Cecil, they are in a good space with each other and all that kind of stuff. And right now, Cecil's actually not working. And the whole app thing that he wanted to do last year is kind of not. It kind of fell through because of the investor and all that kind of stuff. So basically, Cecil wants to move back into the house, and Simone is at the point where she's kind of had her independence, living in the other house. And I figured that was a part of it. Simone is liking her independence, living in her own house, and then you got Cecil and the kids and the dog living in another house. I think that's more so what it is. I know she says, I know it was because of the job and the school and all that kind of stuff, but Miles is in college and Michael is driving at this point, so I'm pretty sure like there's nothing that significantly keeps you guys in that other house. But like I said, Cecil wants to move back into one home with each other, and I think Simone does too. But what it is Simone wants things to run differently than what they were before, which I definitely get that, because there was, there was a whole lot of stuff going on between those two. But in order to make things work, you have to be under the same roof with each other. Like, that's the true way to make things work between you and him, is to be under the same roof. All right, so then we have Dr. Contessa. Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott, they are going to a doctor's office, and Dr. Contessa is, I'm not hip to medical terms, but she's getting, the double mastectomy. And the doctor comes in and basically tells her everything about it. And, although she is taking out her breast, and I think she said she's going to try to do her nipples and do something with her nipples, and there won't be much scarring up under her breast and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. But by her doing this, it does not bring her risk down to 0%, but it does, minimize her risk just a little bit more of getting cancer. And that's another thing about this show, that, like I said, the educational side, you get educated on things in the medical world. And I know we are actually about to go into October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So to all my ladies out there who are watching my marriage and medicine reviews, or any of my reviews, get your mammograms. Early detection is the best, best for you. And once and then later on in the episode, I think it was the end of the episode, Dr. Contessa got a call from the doctor, and she was telling Dr. Contessa that she has a media opening within the next 24 hours, that if she wants to do it, she'll sign her up for it. Now, at first, it seemed like she was a little bit hesitant about it, because it's so soon. But Dr. Contessa does eventually say, you know what, sign me up. I'm ready to get this done. All right, and then the last person I'm going to talk about is Dr. Heavenly. So Dr. Heavenly is at home with Dr. Damon. Well, not Dr. Damon. Damon Jr. is there. And, she's asking him how school is. He says it's good. And then she's like, when am I going to meet your little girlfriend? And Damon Jr. is like, you don't have a girlfriend and all that kind of stuff. And then she's like, well, where's your daddy? And his dad is there. So Dr. Damon comes out, and, they go sit down and talk basically about her anger management person that she's meeting with. Now, I will say that my DVR, when it was in the process of the show airing, it did kind of cut, and it went to another scene. Well, it didn't cut to another scene. It cut out part of the conversation that they were having, because she was telling him how she revealed some stuff that she had kind of buried deep in herself, mostly about her mother, not saying that she loved her and all that kind of stuff. And then she says that I guess the fighting between her and her sister, it's a trigger for her, because it kind of reminds her of Mariah and all that kind of stuff, and how that may just be a trigger from her past. And then she tells him how the anger management coach wants her to go visit her home and her past and all that kind of stuff. And she's basically on board with this because of when Dr. Damon went to Barbados and had his closure with his life and all that kind of stuff. And he actually encouraged Dr. Hemley to go and all that kind of stuff. And then she tells him how she wants So she wants to do it, and she wants Simone and Jackie there with her, which I mean I like that because I like the dynamic between those three. You know, when Heavenly first came on, it was a little bit of friction between those three. But you know, I like their friendship at this point. All right, so then we have a scene where Dr. Heavenly, is packing, getting ready to go to Miami and all that kind of stuff. And basically, it's been 20 years since she's been back and all that kind of stuff. So I'm guessing she's a little, you know, anxious and not sure what to expect when she gets there. So, you know, the girls, they are at the airport and they're getting ready to go to the airport. And you are on the plane. They're on the plane. I don't know if this was Dr. Jackie that was filming Simone, but they were filming each other, talking about what they expect from this trip with Heavenly and all that kind of stuff. So then they finally make it to Miami, and you know, they are in a car, and you know, Jackie asked Heavenly what is her plans for the weekend and all that kind of stuff. And basically, Heavenly just wants those two to be open and honest with her and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, when people are open and honest with Heavenly, sometimes she gets a little bit defensive, and then she attacks them for no apparent reason. So I'm like, I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out with Heavenly, but we'll see. And then, you know, they get to the hotel, and they're in a 2-bedroom suite. So you got Jackie in a room by herself, and then you got Heavenly and what's her name? Simone in a room together. So they eat, and you know, while they're sitting down eating, you know, Jackie has come up with an observation of Heavenly, and I absolutely agree with her observation of Heavenly. Basically, what she said is that when Heavenly is attacked and all that kind of stuff, it attacks her insecurities. So with that, she lashes out and she calls people bitches, and she says your mama stuff and all that kind of stuff. And basically, it's just a defense mechanism because of the way she feels. Because Heavenly talked about how she, you know, when she grew up, the kids were mean and, you know, and all that kind of stuff because she was a little bit overweight and all that kind of stuff. Which, I mean, like I said, I agree with Jackie. It is a defense mechanism because of where she's been. She had to get tough and thick skin to be able to deal with that stuff. So it is 100% a defense mechanism. So when they were talking, you know, Jackie was talking about how she called people bitches and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, Heavenly is like, you know, well, Jackie, I feel like you could call people a bitch as opposed to the way that you talk to people and all that kind of stuff. And then Jackie was like, so because I said something to you, now you want to come back at me and like a rebuttal or something. And you know, Heavenly is talking about how her mom called her a bitch. I'm like, that is really sad that your mama called you a bitch as a kid. Like that's really sad. And then, you know, Heavenly's talking about how she felt ganged up on them by them. And I don't think they were ganging up on Heavenly. They were just trying to tell Heavenly how they see things and how they feel, because they have both been on the receiving end of shit with Heavenly. So if you consider them your friends and you wanted them to be open and honest with you, be receptive to hear what they got to say to you and all that kind of stuff. And then they ask her to, you know, give a promise that she won't be combative, which she says, you know, she'll try and all that kind of stuff. But that was Married to Medicine. Like the video, leave your comments, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you later for the Insecure season finale review.